So yes, some interesting news from Games Workshop. We thought that Astartes II was dead. We thought that they'd probably taken the guy who created it and put him in a shed somewhere and locked him away so he couldn't do anything ever. But he's actually back. So Sayama, the guy who did the original Astartes, which was a pretty massive hit when it came to Warhammer 40,000, took everything by storm, and then Games Workshop went, cool, we'll buy you then. Well, that is now coming back with Astartes 2. And we've got a teaser trailer for it. Yeah, Electric Boogaloo. Exactly, yeah. So this was the teaser trailer that popped up this week that is looking particularly nice. There's a few bits and pieces from here that came out as part of a sizzle reel that the creator did. I think it was a couple of years ago now. So some of these bits will be familiar to a lot of people, especially like the orc fighting bit, I think. This was in like an older reel. But this is now sort of a taster as to what's going to be coming up. Now, when I shared this with my friends, I was like, Astartes 2 is coming. And they were like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And then I went, in 2026. And they went, oh, what? So I guess that speaks possibly to the extent of the project and where they want to go with it. I mean, Astartes, the original, was fantastic. But fairly short. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they start to expand it out, maybe make it a larger show going into New Year. Obviously, the quality of the animation when it comes to Astartes is pretty insane. So obviously that will take a long time to get right as well. But 2026 seems like a very long time for us to be waiting on this.
That's my favorite stuff. I just love
the only thing I could think about with that bit was Hoth. And imagine a stormtrooper running down there and then suddenly a space marine burning down a corridor towards them.
my biggest concern is if he accidentally clips.
Yes.
It's a very narrow corridor. Yeah. He's going to go tumbleweeding through that.
He's got his stabilizers on there properly as he goes through, which is cool.
Oh, yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. But so we got a bit of a teaser trailer from what we know, sort of information wise. None of that footage is indicative of what will be in the final show, essentially. That's all kind of like, these are what the Space Marines were like before the events of Astartes 2, because as you saw at the end, there was a Terminator helmet and what looked like a Death Watch inquisitorial symbol on there as well. So it looks like all of those Space Marines, those Adeptus Astartes Marines, will be drafted into the Death Watch for whatever is going to take place in Astartes 2. Still a long way off, but I mean, I'm excited, but it feels like maybe it's a little bit too early to get majorly buzzed about it. The one thing I'm a little concerned about is that Astartes was so hype and everyone was so excited to see what they were going to do with Astartes 2. And obviously we've had lots of animations since then from M2 and Amazon and all that kind of thing, which I actually believe Sayama was involved in or at least in the production studio or something. It directed it. Oh, okay.
He directed it. Yep.
Yeah. So, he's had an input in other projects, but it'll be fascinating to see whether or not it actually sticks the landing when it comes out in 2026, because it may be so overblown that people go, well, this isn't anything like I thought it was going to be. We'll have to wait and see.
I think it's going to stick the landing. The problem is, and I agree with you, I think it's maybe a bit too soon to say that it was coming. It was too soon to announce it. Especially when it's a year out. Now, typically we get like movie trailers maybe a month or 2 months out, big cinema releases, for example, but you'll get the media hype train starting when production begins. So is production only beginning now, or is it well underway? We don't know, because as we've said, that none of this footage apparently is going to be in. Yeah. Yes, this is all stuff that is from the sizzler that he did at the end of the Astartes project. So I think, considering the Astartes project itself took him 4 years to actually get out that 14 minutes of animation, which is amazing on his own. Like, it is the most polished, complete piece of fan work that we've had for Warhammer 40k in general. I think with a bigger team, we're either going to see something that's going to be absolutely fantastic, like Secret Level on Amazon, because being directed by him, you could tell his DNA was throughout that animation. He was taking
crunching hits.
he was taking inspiration from the likes of 300 and stuff like that for the combat sequences and everything. But I have a feeling, and a little bit of a concern, that if he's having to manage a larger team, for example, he's going to be more constrained, because he won't be allowed to just do as he pleases. He won't be necessarily getting free reign on every shot he wants to take, or how the lighting's going to look, or what the characters are doing.
Yeah, it's doing more management.
If we learned anything from Space Marine 2's developments, the amount of time that they had to keep going back to Games Workshop, and Games Workshop would say the hinges on the boots for the Space Marines aren't right. You need to go back and rework those. All those tiny little things. Games Workshop are going to be very meticulously looking at what he's doing and trying to make it fit.
But this isn't
their vibe. But
this isn't a licensed thing. GW specifically have him working for them now.
This is Warhammer Plus.
Yeah, so that should make that sort of nonsense easier, because
I suppose you'd hope they make it clear straight
Yeah.
away rather than it go through the process and then them have to go back and rework it.
Yeah.
But I guess that's
But
true.
it's not like he's coming to it fresh.
True.
You know, he has that body of work that he's done over the past 5 years.
How long was the Amazon cartoon?
18 minutes,
something like that. Yeah.
It's about 20. So you're probably going to end up seeing something similar then. 20-minute.
Probably.
But I mean, at a year out, we just aren't going to know. It could it could literally be Astartes II, the movie.
It could be.
But I mean,
voiced by Henry Cavill.
But at the same time,
to Ultramarine that everybody wanted.
At the same time, are we going to start seeing this guy? And I keep forgetting his name, and I apologize for that.
Siyama.
Yeah. Are we going to see just more of the same? Because the Astartes project and the Secret Level episode were very much the same thing. Minimal dialogue with a lot of excellent action. Is he going to be able? Is he going to be able to write in a story that is going to be something that people are going to watch and understand? Or is this just going to be a flex of what he wants to do, which is more of the original Astartes animation?
True. Yeah. I suppose we'll have to wait and see.
That's the part where I think we'll either see something really excellent or sort of kind of not quite stick the landing.
It's funny because it could go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not for a mainstream audience, because it's going out on Warhammer TV or Warhammer Plus, whatever it's called. It means they could do a story because they don't have to worry about people not understanding it, because the fan base already understand it.
True. Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about going, oh, and these guys over here they're kind of bad guys, because no, none of that. Don't need to worry about it. Everybody's already invested in the lore.
The audience already understands.
Yeah. So they can drop an actual story in and not have to worry about spending 15 of the 20 minutes explaining what's going on.
Yeah.
Or, again, because the fan base are already invested, they could just do Space Marine porn. No words, just a lot of Space Marine punching things in the face repeatedly until you get covered in blood. And at the same time, the fans go, yeah, because we don't need to think or anything.
There were a few little bits in the trailer.
TV show.
There were a few little bits in the trailer that I thought were quite good. Like there's a section where the sides of the Emperor are walking through.
Wee!
I mean, that was cool. But when they're walking through the town and one of the graffitis says the Emperor forgets.
Yes.
I thought that was a really nice touch there as well.
It was almost Rogue Trader, like.
Harking back to Rogue Trader, which I thought was
Space
cool.
Marines out.
Yeah. I've also, there will be a link to the first Astartes in the description down below, because it used to be free on YouTube, but now it's not. And it's not on. I couldn't find it on Warhammer TV either, so I've just put a link down below.
It's uploaded.
It's a terrible cough you've got there, John. It's just,
so yeah, I've put a link down below, so you can go and check it out for yourself and give it a watch if you've not seen it before. So yeah, I'm excited but reserved. So yeah,
yep.
Fancy smancy. Right.